Hey, in today's video, I'm going to be sharing with you my story and how I overcame anger and became the dad and man that I wanted to become, and how you can too. And it doesn't matter how much you've tried, and if you tried everything to overcome anger, you can absolutely overcome it. I'm also going to share with you how it's important to understand and become aware of the shift to the other side of the pendulum and being afraid and don't want to have anything to do with anger at all, and how it's important to create balance. So don't go nowhere. I'll be right back. Woo! Hey, it's Tony Fonte. How you doing? I help men. I'm an ambassador for men to help them reignite the 4 P's: passion, power, playfulness, and purpose to create deeper intimacy and connection in their life and their relationships. Boom. All right, I want to dive into the message of my story and how I overcame anger, and how you can too, and how to make sure that you're aware of the other side of the pendulum and be able to create balance. But before I do that, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe and hit the little bell notificator to be notified of new videos if the content I share resonates with you. All right, boom, there we go. There's the technicalities out of the way. So I want to share my message, my story on overcoming anger. I don't think I've ever shared it in a video context, ever. I don't think. I've shared it from the stage a few times, and I've shared it in my first book, which is outdated, so don't ask for the book. It's so outdated, but it was a great tool then, and that part of my healing journey. But I shared it in there. But I want to go deeper into the story because there's a lot of new people, now a lot of new followers that have not heard this story, and maybe that's you. So I want to share my story on this piece of it because I'm becoming more and more aware how men are struggling with anger. And anger is a secondary emotion to something deeper, something more powerful, something stronger that is going on that we're not aware of. And I'm becoming more and more aware and seeing all these studies and these numbers coming across that are disheartening in a way of how the high percentage of men who are struggling, but they don't ask for help. Many of them don't, because it's the way we were taught and how to be men. But I want to talk about anger specifically because I know maybe that's you. Maybe you're struggling with anger right now. And if you're watching this, that may be the case while you're here. But I want to share this because there was a point in my life. I've dealt with anger pretty much my whole life. And I was 38 when I began my journey of really healing. I was riddled with anger. I mean, I came from an Italian background, so Italians just have bad tempers, right? No, it's passed on. It's passed on from generation to generation, the same shit that's passed on. But that's what I thought, and that's what I bought into because that's all I knew. That's all I knew was anger. And I tried so many different things. I've suffered from depression. I was on medicine because my anger was out of control. I was in abusive relationships. I was the abuser and sometimes the abusee, physically, mentally, emotionally, to my kids. And it wasn't pretty. And I didn't want people to see that side of me. I kept that hidden in the home. And we're riddled by anger. It's understanding the underlying reasons behind anger. And I'm not going to go into those today. But I just want to share this story of how I was finally able to overcome anger. And let me take you back to 2014. To 2014. I had another marriage ending. I wasn't the dad I wanted to be to my daughter. My daughter was 8 at the time. Her mom passed away just 3 years prior to that. I've been married 4 times, divorced 3, widowed once. And you may be saying, well, how the hell can you help men with relationships in life if you don't have any good background on that? And I'm going to say I have 4 relationships, 4 marriages of a lot of lessons. And 2014 was the beginning point of my journey when I began my healing journey that led me to my first awakening in 2019. And I remember when that marriage ended and she left, I remember sitting back because I was riddled with anger, and I didn't share this because I didn't feel safe to share, because you can't share. You're weak if you share this shit. How I was struggling with anger and how I hated that part of me. How I hated how I felt when I was angry. And how I battled myself every fucking day. Tony, don't get angry. Don't get angry. You can do better. Come on. Keep going. God, please give me strength. Back when I was in the church. God, please give me strength. I don't want to get angry today. I don't want to lose myself today. Everybody walking on eggshells. My daughter walking on eggshells. No one saw, but I was struggling. I don't want to get angry. Don't get angry. Don't get angry. And of course, what you focus on ends up happening. And guess what happened? Something would trigger me, and I'd end up blowing up, and I'd be freaking screaming, yelling, sometimes being abusive, definitely mentally, emotionally, sometimes physically, spanking, smacking in the back of the head, whatever it was. I hated that part of me. So when that relationship ended, I remember one day just sitting there, just reflecting and feeling into and hating that feeling of sitting with my how I was feeling my body, all the thoughts, all the feelings and emotions in my body. But this time, I didn't try to distract myself from it. I sat there and I heard this voice whisper to me. And it says, Tony, your daughter's watching you. If she were to get married today, she's going to choose a man like you. And if she got married today, would you be happy with her choice? And I felt this fear well up inside me, and I felt this anger well up inside me, and I said, hell no, I'd kill him. And that voice responded back in this loving tone, well, she's watching you. You have work to do. And I realized, oh my God, she is going to choose someone like me someday. Do I want her to choose someone like me? She's all I have. I'm all she has. My wife passed away in 2011. And I sat back and I became aware enough, saying, okay, been married 4 times. Most of my relationships weren't great, and even when the ones were great, I sabotaged the shit out of them. I didn't know why then, I do now. And I said, I'm the common denominator. It's not necessarily them. They have their own stuff, but I created that into my reality. I attracted that into my reality because how I felt about myself, how I was being and how I was showing up. And I said, I'm the common denominator. And before I finish the statement, I want to go back just a moment because I thought I tried everything to overcome anger. Counseling, therapy. I was on medicine for a while. And all of those were okay. I got something from each one for the moment, but I was still riddled. And I remember being in the church, and I had 2 different pastors tell me, and I'm not attacking these pastors. I mean, this is what they believe, and that's what they believe, and that's fine, right? There's no judgment, even though I had to work through my own resentment on there for a moment, just to be transparent. They both told me, well, Tony, you may be riddled with anger your entire life, the rest of your life. But keep giving it to God, and he'll give you strength. And they quoted scripture and everything. And here I am up until that moment, trying to become better, trying to do all these things, trying to figure out and walk through and not get angry, trying to control myself, trying to control anger, which ultimately led me to try to control everything else on the outside too, to not trigger that, which ultimately failed. And I felt so defeated in that moment when I heard both of those pastors tell me that. All within a very small time frame of each other. I felt defeated. Well, shit, if God can help me overcome anger, if there's no guarantee that I can overcome anger, and I'm just at the mercy of whatever can happen, I just got to keep asking for strength and keep asking for forgiveness every time I fuck up. Every time I lose my shit. Well, I don't want to live that way. And right before I had that moment and saying, I am the common denominator, I remember being pissed off. And I said, why would God want me to suffer? More importantly, why would God want my daughter to suffer? And then I made the decision right then. I'm going to overcome anger, or I'm going to die trying. I'm going to become the best dad and man that I could fucking possibly be, or I'm going to die trying. And I went on a journey of self-reflection, self-awareness, radical fucking responsibility for my life. And taking responsibility for the part of my life, not for the things that I didn't do, that I didn't cause, that someone else caused pain to me or caused something, but my part in how I reacted and the energy that created all of that in the first place. It's not taking responsibility for someone else's causing pain or anything like that, but how I showed up, how I reacted, the stories that I created from all of that, and how I was showing up. I took radical responsibility for my fucking life and stopped playing the victim to everything outside of me, giving my power away to something outside of me versus something that we are. And I went on a journey. I started facing the pain, the trauma, the wounds, all the generational wounds, all the generational pain. And at the time, I didn't know it was called shadow work or inner work. I just wanted to fucking heal. I was seeing a counselor. They helped, but it was the inner work that did the most. You know what the hardest thing was? Being vulnerable. Telling my daughter, I'm so sorry for the pain that I've caused you, but I'm going to do my best to overcome this. And I did the work. Was it pretty? No. At first, I'd fucking fail. I go a few days, I fuck up. Then again, and then each time I go deeper and deeper into the pain, into the stories of where it was coming from. Being curious like a child and asking, where is this coming from? Why am I feeling this way? What happened? Diving into books, helping me, guiding me, directing me inward. That's the key. Go inward. There is nothing outside of you that's going to stop the anger, to end your suffering, to end your pain. It's inside. Being curious about the why you're showing up the way you show up, why you do the things you do, why you get triggered. And then loving on those parts of you, sharing those parts of you, changing and shifting the stories of those parts of you, accepting those parts of you, feeling into the emotions that come up. Man, I know that's hard. But if you want fucking freedom, you may want to lean into your feelings and your emotions. It's not weak to feel. You know it's weak? Trying to avoid your emotions. That's what makes weakness. Vulnerability, not weakness. That's pure fucking strength. And it's scary. I got a whole other message I want to share on that one. I'm not going to do that here. I'm sorry. And you keep trying. I wasn't perfect and I'm still not perfect. But my daughter saw me working and she saw me changing. And then with every change and every healing moment, my energy shifted, my vibration shifted. And you know what it did? It allowed her to heal too. And allowed others around me to begin healing, because that's the beauty and the magic of fucking inner work and energy that we are. But there's also a caveat, and I want to share this really quick. I noticed that when I overcame anger, in about a year, I was doing a million times better. Rarely did I blow up. And now, it's like, I couldn't tell you the last time that I got mad. And even when I did, it wasn't even that bad. And really what it was is my daughter triggered an unhealed portion of myself. And I want you to take note of that. Your kids will trigger the unhealed portions of you. Oh, I got so many messages about kids and building amazing relationships there. Not just with your partner, your intimate partner. But with your kids, see, that's an intimate relationship too, just different. But I realized recently that I moved away to the other side of the pendulum of anger. I wouldn't even admit that I was getting angry. Someone's like, oh, you're getting mad and angry. No. I'm not getting angry. I'm frustrated. I was denying that part of it because I never liked the way I felt with anger. I still had anger and I was storing it down. I was ignoring it. And the anger was getting pissed off that I was ignoring it. My inner child was getting pissed off. Saying, motherfucker, you are getting angry. And it was one night I was laying in bed and I felt all this anger come up. Just felt this energy and the surge come through my body, which before I would be like, oh no, because that meant not pleasant things gonna happen. And I felt it just come into my body and I went, oh my God, I'm angry. And it was that moment I fucking said, I'm angry. And I felt it. I observed it. I didn't react to it like I did in the past. And that is how you actually control your emotions, by surrendering to them, by observing them, detaching and feeling them. But because I was so afraid to become angry again, I went to the other side and didn't want to acknowledge it. Tried to push it away when it did come up. Tried to reframe it as something else, frustration, overwhelm. Never did I want to say anger or mad. Tried to reject that part. Anger itself is not a low vibrational emotion or a negative, because anger can be a beautiful thing. Depends on if you react or you respond to it. Reacting is letting it take control over you and moving, but you can fucking express anger in a positive way that actually moves you forward and helps rise and raise your energy. And there's so many different ways that you can express anger in a fucking magical way. Once you learn the triggers of yourself and what makes you angry in the first place and why you're using it in this negative context, allowing it to lower your vibration, which you're choosing to allow it to lower your vibration, versus using it to express a need that wasn't met, a boundary that was crossed. Are frustrated with your situation and saying enough is enough. Like the moment when I said, I'm fucking done. I'm either going to overcome anger or I'm going to die trying. I'm going to create the life that I desire, or I'm going to die trying. I'm going to become the best fucking partner I possibly can, or I'm going to die trying. I've drawn my line in the sand, and I said, I'm fucking done. It takes fucking courage to do that. It takes courage to fucking be vulnerable. It takes courage to face your fucking shadow. You are the fucking power to overcome. You are the co-creator of your reality. You are not at the mercy of something outside of you. You are God expressing itself. And you have the fucking power to create. So, if you have been struggling with anger, and have wanted to give up on hope, I want to say to you, don't. I am living proof that you can overcome anger, and you can create balance with anger, and you can learn to smile when it comes up and have fun with it. And observe it. Even rage, it stores down. You can smile and have fun with it without reacting to it. It takes a lot of healing, and a lot of strength, a lot of courage, a lot of vulnerability to do that. And if you want help on that, if this resonates with you, you want help on your journey of overcoming anger and more, to create deeper connection in your life and relationships, to really reignite those 4 P's I talked about in the beginning: passion, power, purpose, playfulness, then book an intuitive breakthrough session. It's free. And we'll talk. I'll use my energy healing gifts. I'll use my intuitive gifts. And we'll start unraveling and creating a path for you, a journey for you. And if it's a right fit to work together, we can talk about that too. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what resonated with you, what stood out to you. Did it spark some inspiration? Did it help you become more alive? Knowing that there's possibility that I can overcome as well? I'd love to hear from you. Just comment below. Let me know. And there are many other ways that we can work together too. Even if it's on your own, I'll have all the links below, and there's things that you can do on your own that I've created that can help you on your journey, whether it's self-paced or we work together in many different capacities. I'll have all the links below, and you can see what fits for you and see what resonates for you. So, I'll talk to you soon. I love you all, and see you on the next episode.